Hey everyone, how's it going? Here we are, Facebook messaging. Something new, it's going to be released in a few months. Some people already have some invites already. I don't happen to be one of them. That's okay. Anyway, I already know where this is going. So this is basically probably going to be a revamped new interface version of the original messaging system. But what this is going to do is integrate all kind of messages. So you know how you get your text messages and you get regular messages in email, and conversations are fragmented. So what Facebook is going to do is keep your conversations connected by the person you're talking to, so the conversations stay connected by the person, and any sort of message will remain in that conversation. So if you have a text message or if you send a regular message, that will stay within the same conversation, so you can sort of keep ties. So you will probably use your username at Facebook, and you'll be able to receive text messages, and you'll be able to receive all sort of messages, which you can sort of do already. So I mean, this is not something that's so new, but releasing it, I think, on this scale is going to be huge. I think this is going to have a lot of implications. They're trying to say it's not an email killer, or this is not an email, as the video says. I think that's just some marketing, and I think they just don't want to be connected with email. They want to remain social, but really this is sort of an email killer in a way, because if you have a Facebook, nobody really needs to connect with you in any other way except on Facebook. Why do people really need to send you messages by email? So I think this is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think Gmail is going to have a lot of issues, and I think they're going to see traffic declining at Gmail. They had their time, they had their time to shine. They had a chance to make this powerful. I think Google needs to really step up their game. I don't think everybody's going to move from Gmail to Facebook, but I think this is going to have a lot of implications, as I said. I also teach, and I've asked some of my students who really could not understand why we even had email. A lot of them used to ask us, why do we need email? Why does the school need our emails? We don't use email. And sort of I was like, well, if you don't use email, how do you connect? And they were like, Facebook, so I mean, in a way they're sort of right. Why don't they just connect to us through Facebook, which schools won't do for a long time. Hopefully they'll come around to it. But they couldn't see the concept of email, and I sort of agree. I mean, if you think about it, what is the original purpose of email, right? And it would be a form of communication, right, through computers in a way. So the original purpose of email was to communicate, right? So where is the communication happening right now between people? It's happening on social networks. It's happening on Twitter. It's happening on Facebook. It used to happen on MySpace. Now it's moved on. So the conversations and the communication are occurring elsewhere outside of email. I mean, a lot of people actually dread visiting their emails. They only look for information from friends. I mean, they really dread looking at that inbox. I think that for someone to say that Facebook is email is personal, or email is not going to change. I think they really don't know what's happening, because it's not about the tool. It's about the people and how they communicate. And if email loses its effectiveness, which it is losing its effectiveness, I mean, I think Google did a great job in sort of, stopping the spam and making it more, keeping the conversations intact, which helped out a lot. But if it loses its effectiveness and people can just truly connect on Facebook, I mean, if you're going to get a Facebook message and that's from a friend, you're going to check it out. You're going to look at it. Now, I do think Facebook has to be really careful with being careful with what marketers are doing on Facebook, because the experience could be ruined, and if the experience is ruined, it's going to go downhill from there. So they got to find a way to separate the marketing with the messaging service. Make sure that it's not something that's going to be infiltrated by marketers and other people who really try to connect. The messaging system is going to basically block, this sort of false connection between users and other users, so that if we're not truly friends, you're not going to be able to send me, really, a message. So this is sort of like a messaging service from people to people. What has yet to be seen is how Facebook Messages is going to handle people sending you messages from, you know, outside of Facebook, from other email addresses that aren't your friends. They're probably going to allow messaging to come into you, and then at that point you can decide how you want to handle those you know, those messages. For people to say this is not email, I mean, what is email but a messaging service? And I think Facebook messaging is something really we should look out for. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see what it brings, and I think Gmail has a lot to consider at this point, because things are changing, and if you don't evolve, nothing's gonna happen. Talk to you soon. Facebook Messages.